Hello, Alucard Zane here again, bringing you an update to my Prophecy deck list. um, I'm doing this update because we got a couple more things off the ban list for this deck, and you'll see one of them here soon. But I noticed on my YouTube channel that this deck got lot more views than my other deck profile, so I figured why not give you guys another an update to this deck. Right now I'm still in the testing stages for this deck, so but it's been going good for me. Other than that, this jumps straight into the deck. We're running one World of Prophecy. He's still a good card. For those of you who that are new to the deck, that don't know what Prophecy's doing, stuff like that, his effect is when he's special summoned by a spellcaster type monster or a spellbook spell card, you can destroy all other cards on the field except himself, I believe. Yeah. Oh wait, when he's special summoned by the effect of a spellcaster type monster or a spellbook spell card, you can target up to 2 spellbook spell cards in your graveyard. Add those targets to your hand, and and then when you add cards to your hand by this effect, you can reveal 4 spellbook spell cards with different names in your hand. Destroy all other cards on the field. So he's like a board wipe. So that's pretty good. Gets rid of your opponent's pendulum scales and stuff, so it's not bad. It's actually not that bad. So one world. I'm still running the world variant, so the world build, so. Next up, we have Dark Magician Chaos. He's up to 3 right now. I'm testing him at 1. I don't want the deck to be centered around him, but I just want to test him out. What he does is when he's normal special summon, you can target 1 spell card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand during the end phase. This is not the errata version, but I do have the errata version, but I like the secret rare. But yeah. Then what else he does is banish any monsters destroyed by battle with this card. So he's kind of like Kaiku, but whenever he destroys a monster by battle. So I mean I still like D-Mock. Important thing to note, if you use him for discard fire for like let's say Twin Twisters, he does not get banished because because it says if this face-up card would be would leave the field, banish it instead. It does not save from hand. So if you discard him for the effect of like Twin Twisters or something, he goes to the graveyard. So you can special summon him back from like from Spellbook of Life. So yeah. So that's good. We're playing 2 waifu, High Priestess. I still think she's pretty good. So yeah. What she does is, you can reveal 3 spellbook spell cards from different names. Wait, no. You can reveal 3 spellbook spell cards in your hand, special summon this card. Then what the other thing she does is you can banish spellbook spell card from your graveyard or your hand, target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So pretty nice removal. Sucks that she targets, but which is not good these days, but it's still good. Next up, we're running 3 Blue Boy, Spellbook Magician Prophecy. Pretty much the core of the deck. When he's normal summoned to flipped face up, you can add 1 Spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. He's a mandatory at 3 in the deck. No ifs, ands, or buts. Next up, we're running 2 Kaiku. What he does is, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, you can target up to 2 cards in their graveyard, banish those targets. And your opponent cannot banish cards from either player's graveyard. So he's actually useful against Cosmos, and I think maybe Monarchs, since they can't activate Pantheism from Grave and Prime. So yeah, he's actually, Kaiku is actually pretty good. So next up, we're running 2 Temperance and 1 Justice. If I can get the Justice. This ratio is, I'm finding to be kind of good for me. Temperance is, when you activate a spellbook spell card from your hand, this turn you can tribute him to special summon 1 level 1 level 5 or higher light or dark type spellcaster from your deck. So you usually want to go into World. You can even go into Priestess, or you can go into Demok, Dark Magician Chaos. So Justice is where, if you activate a spellbook spell card from your hand, during the end phase, you can banish her and add 1 level 5 or higher light or dark type monster from spellcaster type monster from your deck to your hand, and 1 spellbook spell card from your hand. So which isn't too bad. So the 2-in-1 ratio is working pretty good for me so far. That's a monster lineup, which is, I guess, I think it's more than 10 monsters. I think it's like 11 or 12 right now. So we're spell cards. We're running 2 Grand Spellbook Tower. Pretty much mandatory at 2. I don't see any spellbooks. Other spellbook players running 3, so 2 is good. I finally got my secret rare ones, because I don't like my gold rare ones, so it's awesome. What Spellbook Tower does is, once returned during your standby phase, you can, if you have a spellcaster type monster on your side of the field or in the graveyard, you can return 1 spellbook spell card from your graveyard to the bottom of your deck except itself, and draw 1 card. So very nice draw power. And when this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect card and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 spellcaster type monster from your hand or deck whose level is last time or equal to the number of spellbook spell cards in the graveyard. But the only downside about Tower is that effect can miss timing, because if you try to activate the effect at your standby to draw 1, and let's say they like MST'd or Twin Twisters it, you do not get the special summon effect, which is kind of sad. I found that out the hard way a couple times, but other than that, it's a good field spell. Next up, we're running 3 secrets. Spellbook of Secrets. Pretty much, you get to activate this. You can add 1 spellbook spell card. You can add 1 spellbook card from your deck to your hand, except itself, and you can only use it once per turn. Yeah, pretty much mandatory at 3. No ifs, ands, or buts. Another thing, you can add spellbook Magician from your hand. From your deck to your hand with this card. So this card can search out Blue Boy. So next up, we're running 2 Spellbook of the Masters. Finally got my secret rare ones because I hated my super rare ones. But what this card does, if you control a spellcaster type monster on your field, you can reveal one spellbook spell card from your hand, and then copy a spellbook spell card from your graveyard. That spellbook with master copies that that spellbook card from your grave. So I pretty much only use it to copy secrets, pretty much. So yeah, to get the extra search. Next up, we're running 2 Spellbook of Fate. This card came back at 3. Not that banlist, but the other banlist before that. You only main deck 2, and then maybe side the 3rd. But what it does, if you control a spellcaster type monster on your field, you can banish up to 3 spellbook spell cards from your graveyard, and the number of spell cards you banish from the graveyard depends on the effect. If you banish one, you can return one set spell trap card on the field to the hand. 2, you can change one. 2, it's pretty much a Book of Moon effect. 3, banish one card your opponent controls, and this does not target. So it can like banish Cosmos ships or anything like that, because it doesn't target, and it's a quick play. So it's really, really good. The fact that it came back at 3, just I don't know. 2 Spellbook of Eternity. What it does is when you activate this, you can add 1 banished spellbook spell card from your from your banishment zone, add it back to your hand, and you can only use Eternity once per turn. So it's useful for like if you banish a spellbook spell card for High Priestess, or banish it for Fate. So yeah. Next up, we're running 1 Spellbook of Life. It's pretty much the Monster Reborn for the deck, their own theme to Monster Reborn. What it does is you reveal a spellbook spell card from your hand. Target 1 spellcaster type in your graveyard. Banish 1 spellcaster type monster from your graveyard. Then special summon that first targeted spellcaster type monster to your side of the field. So you can special summon. Demok from the graveyard if you use Demok for like Twin Twisters fodder or something. You can special summon World of Prophecy if you use it for Twin Twisters fodder too as well. So it's pretty nice. Next up, we're running 1 Spellbook of Wisdom. It's a quick play. What it does is you can target 1 spellcaster type monster on the field you control. This turn, you can either have it unaffected by spell cards until the end of this turn, or trap cards. So useful if you want to, if you're afraid of your like say your High Priestess of getting a bottomless or something like that. You can activate Spellbook Wisdom in response to their bottomless, and call traps. They just wasted their bottomless trap hole for nothing. So yeah. So I want to try 2, but I actually have 2 of them. But the other wisdom I have is the rare. I'm looking for the super rare. So because I like the super rare better. 1 spellbook Star Hole. Still running out 1. I still think it's a good card. What it does is whenever you activate a spellbook spell card from your hand, you can put like a counter on this card, and for each counter on this, your spellcaster type monsters gain 100 attack for each counter. And then when it gets destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can add 1 spellcaster type monster from your deck to your hand whose level is less than or equal to the number of spell counters that were on this card. So I still like it at 1. So the attack boost is always nice. Next up, we're running 3 Spellbook Library of the Crescent. I like it at 3. If you open this, especially if you open this and let's say like Blue Boy Spellbook Magician, you're guaranteed you're guaranteed to get going. I like it at 3 so far to increase the chances of opening it in your starting hand or something like that. So, yeah. Because what it does is, if you have no Spellbook spell cards in your graveyard, reveal 3 Spellbook spell cards with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly adds one of them to your hand and shuffle the rest back into your deck. So, it's actually pretty good if you open it first turn. So, and if you draw into more, and then it just becomes more fodder for like Twin Twisters, or you can banish it from your hand with High Priestess. So it's actually I kind of like it at 3. Before I was running Upstart Goblin, when Upstart Goblin was at 3, but you know, it's at 1, so I don't run Upstart Goblin anymore. Next up, we're running 1 Spellbook of Power. It just gives your your spellcaster type 1,000 attack points until the end of turn. So that's what Spellbook of Power does. The one, I still run 1 Book of Ruin. You can use it to set your Blue Boy into face down defense and get its effect. You can use it offensively or defensively, so I still like Book of Moon. Next up, we're running 2 Twin Twisters. You have some decent fodder for Twin Twisters in the deck right now, so yeah. The 1 Raigeki, because, you know, board wiping is good. That was the spells. The trap lineup. I have 1 Solemn Strike and 1 Solemn Warning. It's the only Solemn Strike I have currently. If I get another one, I'll probably take out another trap card. But yeah, I kind of do want to try the Solemn Brigade. The 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. And then we're running 3 Strong Mirror Force. Yeah, if I get another Solemn Strike, I'd probably take out a Strong Mirror Force. So, yeah. That's the main deck. Extra deck, we're running 1 number 11 Big Eye. Mega Phantom Beast Draco Sack. 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. 1 Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. 1 Hierophant of Prophecy. And that's all I have for my extra deck cards. Just pretty much rank 7s. For side deck, I do kind of have a side deck, but it's like, it's okay. Right now, we're side decking 3 Jargon. Let's just say Jargon was good in the main deck when we had Spellbook of Judgment, you know. But Spellbook of Judgment is banned, so yeah, let's just say those days are long gone, and Jargon pretty much lost its usefulness in the main deck. So, next up, we're side decking 1 Sage of Silence. She's a spellcaster type, and you know, when she destroys a monster by battle, your opponent cannot activate spell cards on their next turn, so which is pretty good. I used to deck her in the Pendulum format. Actually in the Shadol Necros format and stuff. So you know, she was actually pretty good. Next up, we're side decking 2 Doomstar Magician. Because more Pendulum Hate. And then we're side decking 3 Kaiser Coliseum. And the 3rd Spellbook of Fate. Anyway, that is my Prophecy deck profile for the April 11th banlist, I believe. And if you guys want me to do more updates with this deck, leave a comment, and I'll see what I can do. I still like this deck, because I love spellcasters. Because the next spellcaster type deck I'm probably gonna build is the new Dark Magician support when that support comes out next set in Dark Illusion. So since I really love spellcasters, and I know I could probably even put some Dark Magician stuff in this deck, so I'm contemplating about it. So other than that, this is All the Cards Zane coming at you with an update for my Prophecy deck profile. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.